It's 2018. We're in Madison, Wisconsin at World Dairy Expo. It's my pleasure to be here with Dave Burket, this year's National Dairy Shrine Pioneer. Dave, congratulations. Quite an honor, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
In all of the history of the pioneers we have, there are people that have usually had starts with humble beginnings. So let's tell us a little bit about where you started in your life.
Well, I was born in the wilds of the Allegheny Mountains, and started off our only source of power was a team of horses. No electricity, no running water, no facilities like that. But when I was 14, I kind of took over the farm because my dad was crippled and on crutches. And he was going to sell out, and I talked him into not selling out. And went to school, finished high school, managed to pretty much run the farm, and just proceeded on from then.
Well, like all great breeders, you have a passion for cattle and breeding. Where do you think that came from?
I inherited from my ancestors, noted for being leaders in their community and what they were doing.
And you started at 14 with how many cows, and how did that grow over time?
Well, 21. We had 21 cows, and they were the mixed breed. I think we had one purebred Holstein. But in 1960, I came out here to your country, north of here, and at Hardyville, Wisconsin, and met up with a cow jockey, and a neighbor farmer of mine and we decided to come out here, and he needed some cows and I needed some cows, and between us we bought a load of cows. He bought 11, I bought 11. He bought grades and I bought purebreds. And one of the purebreds I bought, finally, it was really the last cow that I bought, dropped this polled heifer calf. And it all started from there.
Well, that turned out to be quite a purchase, because that was quite a cow, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. Unbelievable. She was twice the herd average, twice the national average in production, but she had no numbers. And at that time, if they didn't have numbers, you know where they were. They didn't fare well.
But you did breed her to a bull that did some good things, and
Yeah,
that really started it all, didn't
Yeah.
it?
I had a lot of help from a lot of good people, with minds better than mine. And there were ups and downs, and we stuck with it and was able to do what we're able to do. I give a lot of credit to my family, and mainly to John. He's been running the business now for the last 25 years or so, pretty much on his own.
Well, you guys started in the bull business with this cow family, and ultimately ended up sending one of the first pole bulls in AI to a major stud ABS. How did that all happen?
Well, before Jim Pound went with National Holstein, he was county agent in our county. And Jim was a good man and outspoken. And he heard about this cow. He stopped there to see her, and he said, "What she scored?" I said, 78. He didn't believe me. He said, "Turn the numbers around, make her 87, I'll believe you." But he said, "Dave," he said, "if I were you, I'd breed her to a really good bull, and I'd just breed every damn thing in the herd to him." And that's pretty much what happened. That was bred her to Glen-Upton Ragapple Charmer. And Burket Falls ABC was the result. And today, 2/3 of all the registered polled cows are descendants of that bull.
Well, one of the other famous cows you had was the Elevation Sophia cow, and obviously she meant a lot to you as personally and to your herd as well.
Yeah, well, John takes credit for that. He was actually the breeder of her. He owned her mother and bred her to ABC, and the result was Sophia, and He was only 10 years old when Sophie was born, but she was quite a cow, known the world around. And a lot of good things come from her.
Absolutely. Well, that's a little bit about the poll, but you also have been involved with the red and whites as well.
Yeah. Well, talk about being lucky better than good, or lucky better than smart. On that same load, another cow dropped a red heifer calf. But at the time, they weren't even registered.
Right.
So she grew up to be a good cow, and about 4 years old, word got around about her, and the guy came there and wanted to buy her, and I asked two prices of what a good Holstein would be registered, and he took her. And he wound up sending her to South America for big money, but had to do over. I'd have kept her because it wasn't too long after that that Holstein started registering them. But we got another chance with another red factor bull. That's where a lot of the good red ones came from.
Well, you've had a great influence by putting bulls in AI, and you were selling semen on some of your own bulls, and you really were passionate about the breeding program for polled and red and whites.
Yeah. You had to like polled. For the pain it saved the calves, and the work, the nasty job it saved the people that had to dehorn. And red, you find out 3/4 of the cattle in the world are red, and they tolerate the heat much better. And that was another opportunity. But there we was helped with a couple of people, Elmer Carpenter and John Carpenter, that were really good people and outspoken and promoted reds, and helped us, put us wise to a few good bulls on the horizon, and we profited by it.
Well, over the years, you had the opportunity to host many people from many countries, and that must have been an interesting experience.
Yes, it was. All over the world. And something, go back to the princess cow, so many things about her that nobody knew. She never had an illness, was never sick except for a time that she went off feeding and called the vet, and the vet came and took a big saucer cup full of hardware out of her. And in a few days she was back to normal. But the cow was an easy breeder, short gestation, never any other edema. So many good points about her that even though she had the low score, we hung with her. We knew better.
You knew better, that's right. Well, that's what true breeders do, I think, is they have faith in their breeding program, and obviously you've been able to help a lot of young breeders, and I'm sure that a lot of people would thank you for your efforts.
Well, we get a lot of compliments, yes.
Well, I know a big part of you is your family, and so why don't you just tell us a little bit about your wife and your children? You've already mentioned John, but you can cover the family a little bit.
Well, I had an awful good father, and got 3 sons and a good wife, and they're all behind me.
And your wife is still with you today, and that's
Yeah.
You've been married for how many years?
66. Yeah.
Fantastic. And John is continuing the Burket Falls herd, and it gets better every year, doesn't it?
Well, it seems to, yes.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here with Dave Burket, a National Dairy Shrine pioneer, and truly one of the great gentlemen in the industry. Congratulations again, Dave.
Good to be here, and thank you very much.